Hello guys and welcome to this video. Today I would like to talk about a particular topic, and that is the question if you can actually train all dogs or your dog not to be aggressive, and that you can train your dog up to a point at which you have total control over it. Now, I looked at quite a lot of different sources, and there was one particular topic that I came across, and that is the so-called predatory drift. Now, predatory drift is a certain behavioral pattern that you can see in dogs because they descend from wolves, and I would like to show a little bit what predatory drift actually is. And I found an article here. I looked at several articles, but they were more or less saying the same thing. So I just picked the article that explains the phenomenon in the most concise manner. And that is from a website called pethelpful.com. The article is titled, "What is Predatory Drift in Dogs and How to Prevent It?" There are several behaviors we can observe in dogs today that stem from their hunter origins in the wild. Your dog still walks around in circles before laying down, buries his bones, and marks his territory, even though these behaviors may no longer be needed in a domestic setting. Among these ancestral behaviors is also a phenomenon known as predatory drift. The predatory sequence. In the wild, dogs used to hunt to survive, and in order to be successful, they followed a predatory sequence encompassing the following steps. The search, number 1. Number 2, the eye stalk. Number 3, the chase. Number 4, the grab bite. And number 5, the kill bite. Selective breeding has caused several dogs to inhibit the last few steps of the sequence. We therefore have herding dogs that will herd sheep by stalking them, chasing them, and even gripping them at times, but they will not kill the sheep. We have hunting dogs that have developed soft mouths, whereas in the past there was no such thing if the dog wanted to survive. Yet some breeds were also selectively bred to complete the whole sequence. For instance, many terriers were used as ratters that killed vermin in many factories and farms. Initially, dogs were naturally inclined to kill prey animals for survival purposes, thereby completing the whole predatory sequence. Then hunters selectively bred several dogs to not complete the whole sequence for herding purposes or to prevent meat from being spoiled by their sharp teeth. In modern times, it's not unusual for some dogs to finish the whole sequence by killing a cat or another dog. And when this happens, the dog is inevitably in big trouble, and at times even at risk of being put down. What triggers predatory drift? Predatory drift is considered basically a return to the original and ancient predatory sequence. In behavioral terms, it's a hardwired modal action pattern. Basically, once a trigger starts the behavior, it needs to go to completion. In simple terms, it's predatory drive in its purest form, not to be confused with aggression. While the term instinctive drift was first coined in 1961 by Breland and Breland, the term predatory drift was coined years later by veterinarian, behaviorist, and dog trainer Dr. Ian Dunbar. How the predatory sequence starts. The predatory sequence may be initiated through play. Play often follows several sequences of predatory behavior. You have the chasing, the stalking, and the biting. Most dogs will engage in many ritualistic behaviors and meta-communication to tell the other dog they are only playing under the form of play bows and inhibited bites. However, at certain times, that predatory instinct prevails, and once it starts, it must end, at times with dire consequences. This phenomenon may take place when larger dogs play with smaller dogs. The dogs seem to play very well, when out of the blue, the larger dog suddenly goes in for the kill. There are several anecdotal reports of these happenings, and sadly, the smaller dogs often don't survive the bite and accompanying head shakes once grabbed by the neck. How to prevent predatory drift? Preventing predatory drift can be an arduous task. At times, affected dogs do not have a history of the behavior. In fact, many have never shown any signs of aggression until then. Preventing it is therefore quite tricky. Acknowledging this tendency is one great step in prevention. Keep large and small dogs separated. Dog owners can help reduce its chances by having large dogs not play with the little ones, or allowing it with very close supervision. There is a good reason why many dog parks have started dividing play based on size. Many dog daycare facilities are also following this trend. Pre-drift signs. There are certain pre-drift signs you can acknowledge. Predatory drift often seems to be triggered by behaviors that stimulate predatory drive. A small dog fleeing, whining and squealing because frightened may trigger predatory drift, as it's acting almost like real prey. When dogs gang up together with one small dog that acts like prey, predatory drift may ensue. All it takes is a dog to step on a small dog's foot and the small dog squeals, and then predatory drift may take over. Now, what can we actually learn from this? I would say, in short, what we can learn is that you can simply not control your dog to 100%. It is probably just as simple as that. So even if you really put a lot of time in training your dog and socializing your dog and, you know, trying to keep it non-aggressive, or whatever you want to call it, the predatory drift is just something that is in their DNA. It's just a genetically determined behavioral pattern, and you can just not change genetics by upbringing. That is one of the very basic rules of genetics, that you can do whatever you want. You can do genetic engineering. That's how you can change genetics, or like certain type of breeding tricks. But upbringing does not change the genetics of any animal. So how can you actually apply that to different breeds? Now, every dog trainer and every behaviorist can confirm to you that not all dog breeds have the same temperament. Now, of course, they do have different temperaments. Some dogs are known for being very docile and very peaceful and not aggressive at all, while other breeds are infamous for being difficult to control or impossible to control, and for being extremely bloodthirsty, like all those bully breeds, for instance. So does that mean that the docile breeds do not show or cannot show predatory drift? No, it does not mean that. They can show this behavior just like any other dog. And as the article said, it has nothing to do with being aggressive. Yeah, so this predatory drift is not just the same as being aggressive. This is a totally different topic. And I just noticed that there are apparently too many dog owners who don't know the difference. Every time a dog attacks somebody or kills somebody or kills another dog, then, everybody, like mostly the owners, are going on about how surprised they are because their dog, uh, they've had the dog for years and it has never shown any signs of aggression. And that is very well possible, yeah. But they just don't understand that the predatory drift can occur nonetheless, that it has nothing to do with a dog being aggressive or not. And I mean, I really don't know how many hundreds of times I've already read this nonsense, this, again, anecdotal evidence from people who are just going on about, I've had my Staffy for 8 years and it's such a darling and it's not aggressive at all. Like, they just get a bad reputation, blah, blah. No, it has nothing to do with being aggressive. And even like, this article is from a pet website. So this is not an anti-dog source that I'm using. So again, so that nobody can accuse me of being biased, I even use the sources that the dog owners actually use themselves, or they should use, but apparently many of them don't. So the aggressiveness has nothing to do with it. And I'm actually, frankly, sick of all those stories about, pit bulls or whatever, Staffordshire Terriers or German Shepherds mauling their owners or mauling their children. And then everybody's making a surprised Pikachu face about, yeah, like, my little darling has never been aggressive to anybody. It has never done anything to anybody. It couldn't hurt a fly. I don't understand how this could happen. Well, I mean, it takes you 3 minutes to read such an article and then you would understand it. But you just have to repeat the same nonsense over and over again. And I even, just to finish this video, I just picked some videos from YouTube. I typed in, pit bull kills dog. You can find hundreds of videos, where pit bulls just, without any reason, attack other dogs and often kill them. And just, I know it's really unhealthy to go through the comments, but I did it nonetheless, because inevitably under every single one of these videos you will find the morons coming and telling you, yeah, it's not the breed, it's always the owner. It's always the owner. It has nothing to do with the breed. Don't give them a bad reputation. Like this one here. Like, I tried to kind of scribble over the name of this moron. Stop giving pit bull a bad rep. It's the owner's fault. Look, yes, it is the owner's fault as well, because the owner is apparently a moron as well, and that is the owner's fault. But that doesn't mean that the pit bull is by definition harmless. It's just a non sequitur. It's the owner's fault and it is the pit bull's fault. It's very simple. Like, it's not a either or choice. It can be both. Yeah. So do you always find these stupid comments about, yeah, it's the breed is misunderstood. Yeah, how is the breed misunderstood? They have been bred for centuries as fighting dogs. That's why they are called pit bulls. By the way, it's misspelled here with two T's, but okay. So they have been bred to be aggressive and to be uncontrollable. So what exactly are you surprised about? And then these people go on about, yeah, the breed is misunderstood. Like, how exactly is it misunderstood? It is doing exactly what it was bred for. Here, a comment by a supposed or self-declared dog trainer. I personally will not own any small breed. I've only owned American Pit Bull Terriers, Cane Corso, Rottweilers, German Shepherds, Amstaff, American Staffordshire probably. Then wrong punctuation, okay. I train, rehabilitate, rescue, and educate people on how to train their dogs. It's not the dogs, it's dumb people. All dogs must be leashed. Well, I mean, first of all, you really wonder how such a person can be a dog trainer. I mean, this is just absolutely this is I don't know what is this fallacy? What is this fallacy called that usually the people who have the least knowledge fall under this misconception that they are big experts, and usually the less they know, the more they overestimate their knowledge. Like, I train, rehabilitate, rescue, and educate people. So do you train? I mean, first of all, you train, rehabilitate, rescue, and educate people. So you train people and rehabilitate people, rescue people. Okay, I mean, we know what this person means, but I mean, just look at this dumb vocabulary. Like, I rehabilitate, like as if she was the parole officer or something. That I rehabilitate. You cannot rehabilitate an aggressive dog breed. I mean, you can just euthanize it and that's it. How do you want it to rehabilitate it? You can only rehabilitate people, and even that is already difficult if you look at violent criminals or whatever. Like, the percentage of failed rehabilitation attempts is extremely high. So how do you want to rehabilitate a pea-brained aggressive bully as like an animal? Like, you can't, it's in their genetics. There's nothing to rehabilitate, you moron. And then you always have the word rescue. I rescue those poor animals. It's always this disgusting savior complex with their helper syndrome, you know, put together with virtue signaling that, look at me, I'm such a good person. I'm rescuing all those innocent little animals. Yeah, of course. And then this person educates people. Yeah, he or she educates people. Yeah, of course. Like, oh, we have too many people. We have really too many people in those comment sections thinking that they have to educate other people. It's just stupid. And you know immediately that in those comment sections, everybody who goes on about how they need to educate other people, they are usually the biggest idiots in the entire comment section. You can be sure about that. And then, yeah, it's not the dogs, it's dumb people. Yeah, again, as if it was an either or choice. All dogs must be leashed. Well, you can leash a pit bull all you want. I mean, you can find hundreds of videos on and reports about the leash actually just gets torn or whatever, or the owner cannot hold it back. Or it's just all dogs must be leashed, as if that would solve any problem. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Here, another one. It's okay when the pit bull is properly trained and you have control over him. I am 14 and have a Doberman, but he never attacked any dog because he's on a leash and is well behaved. Now, here's exactly the idiot. I mean, a 14-year-old, really, you like, what kind of parents does this person have? They give a Doberman, which is also like a potentially dangerous animal. They give a Doberman to a 14-year-old. My God, I don't know if I should actually feel sorry for this 14-year-old here. Like, you must have really shitty parents. Oh my God, it's just terrible. And of course, the profile picture is a dog, so you know what you have to expect. It's just crazy. It's always the same. Like these people are so boring. It's really like one comment is like the other. It is just so unbelievably boring. These dog owners, they're so one-dimensional, boring NPC people, it's just crazy. Like every single one of them just says the same. They're like programmed robots. It's just unbelievable. And yeah, this 14-year-old, I mean, he will be surprised. Then yeah, it's on a leash and it's well behaved and has never attacked anybody and any dog. Yeah, it hasn't until it will. Until it will. God, really. Now this here, I just put in as as kind of a bonus here. Now I couldn't believe that when I read it. I have half American Pit Bull, half Husky. Are they still going to be like this, or are they going to be different? He is still a puppy. Now this comment was under one of those videos where a pit bull just ripped another small dog apart. Now here you have a person that obviously already owns a puppy, and then this person goes to a YouTube comment section to actually ask what it is that it has here. So they get a puppy and have no idea what it actually is, and then they go to a YouTube comment section trying to educate themselves and ask other people for their opinion. Like what? I just got an animal, but I don't really know what it is. Can anybody tell me? It's still a puppy. My goodness, honestly. I mean, here you have the dog owner, really. You get a dog, have no idea what it is, and after getting it, you start informing yourself. Or even you start an attempt to inform yourself, and then you're so stupid that you go to a YouTube comment section instead of just going to some professional or to a dog trainer, or even online you can find millions of sites about different dog breeds. But no, you have to go to a comment section. I mean, like how many, like, oh my God, really? It's just like these people have definitely not more than 10 brain cells. It's just insane. And then you have people liking this. It's just unbelievable. So, anyway, you see that, I mean, the conclusion of this is pretty clear. Um, you cannot control your dog, and it is absolutely clear that there are some breeds that are very easily falling into this behavior, and other dogs are further away from it, but they're still not removed from it. It's just a question of how quickly can it happen. It's not a question if, it's not a question whether it can happen or it can't. It's just a question of how large is your dog's proclivity to this particular behavior. But it is present in every dog. Yeah, no matter if you have like the most harmless poodle or whatever it is. It's not a question of upbringing. Of course, the upbringing can, you can tip it into a certain direction with the upbringing, but again, you can do all you want. You will not get rid of this behavioral pattern. It will always be there as, as a potential possibility. And actually, one other thing that the article mentioned was that often small dogs get killed, by larger dogs when they play, because the small dog starts squealing, and the squealing actually triggers this predatory drift in the larger dog. Now, that is, I mean, the article fails to mention that this is, of course, not only a problem with smaller dogs, but it's also a problem with humans, especially with small humans, meaning children or infants or babies. So every good dog trainer will actually tell you that you must never leave children alone with dogs. Never. Even with small dogs. But especially with larger dogs. Never. Not even for 10 seconds. Because, if the dog, even if the dog is just playing with the child, and then, the child gets, I don't know, gets hurt or something and starts squealing, then exactly the squealing can trigger this predatory drift, And that is the reason why you can find thousands of articles online about children being killed by dogs. And the squealing is an important factor in that whole equation. And I just don't understand why the dog owners just don't acknowledge that. I mean, they're just living in denial. They're just living in absolute denial. And the squealing, by the way, is also why you can buy those dog toys that make these squeaky sounds. Now, you can see, or you can easily find all these pictures of the cute puppy playing with those squeaky toys. Now, again, if you know what is actually behind the squeaking and why dogs love to play with that, then it's probably not so cute anymore. But the squeaking is actually imitating the squealing of the prey, and that triggers the dog's killing instincts, and that's why they chew on those toys, and why they often also they bite it and then they shake it. That's exactly what predatory dogs do when they go for the kill bite. They usually go for the neck, and then they violently shake the prey so that their neck will just be ripped into shreds. So when you see a cute little puppy playing with such a squeaky toy, then that is exactly the type of behavior that is on display there, just still in a pseudo cute form. So yeah, I mean that's behind all this stuff. So yeah, that is what you can say about these stupid comments regarding it's the owner's fault and it's never the dog and blah blah blah. It's nonsense. Yeah, it's nonsense, and the dog trainers themselves say it. So I just really don't know where those those dog keepers and dog nutters take their information from. I really don't know. They just take it from their own fantasy world, which consists mostly of denial and wishful thinking. But yeah, it's just not what the facts are about. I'm sorry, or I'm not actually. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. No other video. I hope it wasn't too boring. So, conclusion of all of this is, guys, stay away from dogs. They're all potentially dangerous, all of them. Not only the bully breeds, but they are especially dangerous. So, another good reason to just stay away from these mutants. Okay, so thanks very much for listening. You take care now. Bye bye.